Welcome to Run With It. On today's show, we have race coverage of the Moto Spring Runoff 8K. Also, we're in conversation with Daniele Canon, who's here to share her story of quitting smoking, learning to run, and how that helped her as a way to encourage people to join Run to Quit. Also coming up later in the show, we have our Train Like a Pro segment, plus Doctor's Corner. But first, we have registered dietitian Gloria Sang and Dairy Farmers of Canada spokesperson to share some healthy recipes that could help prevent colorectal cancer. Welcome to the show, Gloria.
Excited to be here, Christine.
So, this all looks yummy. So this is oatmeal.
Absolutely. This is actually overnight oatmeal. Since we're talking about colorectal cancer, what is good for the gut is obviously fiber. And as runners and somebody who is actually in sports all the time, having sustained energy is very important to provide not only the carbohydrate, but also sometimes the protein. So what I often do is to do overnight oat. And what it does is you just have to put some large flakes, oatmeal, with some milk, put it in the fridge overnight, take it out. You can actually eat it raw, or you can actually cook it in this chilly weathers. I usually prefer to actually eat it warm. So I usually just kind of microwave it or put it in the stove for 2 to 3 minutes to warm it up. But this is a good type of food that is actually good for general health as well as for colon health.
Right, and it's good for runners. And that's something I never thought of. So that's really good information. And this is quinoa, right? We see
this
here.
is actually chia seed pudding, which is super hot these days. And chia seed is the kind of the latest superfood, and what it does is actually high in protein, similar to milk, also high in fiber, and that's the reason we're making this chia seed pudding for today. And what it does, again, this is also could be overnight. You could make some milk and yogurt and put some chia seeds overnight and bring it out next morning as breakfast. Today, this one is actually spiced chia seeds. So we actually have cooked it a little bit because we've added some cardamom and some ginger and some vanilla extract. So we want to kind of blend the spice together well. So that's why we kind of cook it a little bit and put it in the fridge, but take it out served cold. So I found it could be as breakfast or it could be as just dessert.
Oh, nice. Have to try it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so what else do we see here?
Well, we have also prepared a porridge, and every time we think of porridge is wheat or oatmeal, and
yes.
Since we have an oatmeal, I thought maybe we could actually do some new foods which is also high in protein and high in fiber as well for gut health. So we're planning to make a quinoa porridge. So a hot cereal to start the day is a good idea. And this one specific, and so I'm going to prepare it just so that we can see how it goes. So we're going to whisk together some milk with sugar, flour, cinnamon, and we love cinnamon taste for breakfast. And so what we does is we just kind of whisk it. So I'm just going to do the demo here and not use it on a stove. So once it's well mixed together, you can actually put the quinoa and the water in the mixture, and then bring it to boil. Once bring it to boil, turn it down low, simmer for 20 minutes. So this is the finished product of the quinoa porridge.
Oh, nice.
So you can see that it is a twist on the traditional porridge with quinoa simmered in milk, so it gives you the traditional creaminess that we're looking forward to when we have a bowl of porridge. We have also put some apples in it, but I prefer apples to be a little bit crunchy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna serve it just so that you can actually have a taste of it.
Wow. It smells yummy.
And so what you do is you just kind of sprinkle some apples on the side and some toasted almond. And there you go.
Oh, thank you, Gloria.
You're welcome. What do you feel? Like, this is quinoa. Most people think of quinoa being hard and seedy, but this is actually a creme, it provides some creaminess because it's simmered in milk, and so it gives this, creaminess that we expect from a porridge.
It's delicious.
And so, oftentimes you may wonder why we're talking milk when we're talking about colorectal cancer. And one thing that we found out from the research from the World Cancer Research Fund, as well as the American Institute of Cancer Research, found that milk may have a preventative effect on protecting colorectal cancer. And one of the ingredients in milk, calcium, seems to have a protective effect on the colon polyps, which is kind of like a precursor of colorectal cancer tumors. So that's the reason why milk is kind of seen as a anti-cancer food along with other colorful fruits and vegetables.
Great information. And I'd like to have you back on the show, Gloria. Thank you so much. This is yummy. I'm going to finish this later.
Excited to be here.
Thank you. Now, let's go to our race coverage on the Moto Spring Runoff.
From completers to competers. So we've got some of the top athletes in Canada. Rob Watson's running here this weekend. He's running in Cardiff next weekend. But we really focus that it's the same experience for the front of the pack as the back of the pack, and just try to have a great race for everybody.
And this event is special because there's very few 8Ks out there, right?
It's few. There always seems to be another one coming in, but this is one of the more special ones in the season, and a great way to kick off the series, the Canada Running Series, and kick off the spring season.
With me in the studio is Richard Hartness, who was a two-time Canadian Olympic swimmer, is a teacher, father, and co-leader of a new community fitness movement. He's here to talk about the November Project, which is a free fitness movement that was born in Boston as a way to keep in shape during the cold New England winters. Richard will be demonstrating some exercises later on, but welcome, Richard.
Thanks.
Do you miss competing?
Absolutely. I mean, competition was huge for me as a swimmer, but really the day in, day out, and the thing that people don't see when you do go to competition, right, is the training. And so that's what makes this different for me, is that in training, I could show up every day and sometimes a teammate would be there but not really present. Here, everybody that shows up wants to be there. They're all there to push themselves to their limits, to give 100% of what they have. And it's not just me and a bunch of people that train to be athletes. It's me and a 4-year-old who goes to work out in LA, and it's an 86-year-old that goes to work out in Edmonton to do stairs with them. It's all 30 cities across the world that are working out together all at the same time, basically.
All the same time.
Pretty much.
At what time?
So in Vancouver, we run at 6:29, so not 6:30.
Why?
Because you will remember 6:29. Yeah. We're always at Queen Elizabeth Park. And through the winter, we've had a core group of 40, 45 really solid people. We only started here in Vancouver officially in July of last year. And our biggest group was at our Canada Day workout, 156 people. And to have 40 people show up consistently through the winter, even though it's raining, even though it's cold, even though it's crappy outside.
And that time of the morning, too.
Yeah, and that time of the morning, right? People that are making the effort to show up to work out together because they understand the value of the community that they're in. They understand that, the woman with the double knee braces that's coming to just exercise, or the woman that even though she can't lift her arm above her, here, she's still doing the exercises, still getting good workout. Her daughter now comes with her.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
And I mean, so it's all shapes and sizes, it's free, and I would like us to do some partner exercises,
Absolutely.
right? So
So a big part of what we do is partner exercises because it is about building community. So the first one's super, super easy, okay? So it's called a curtsy lunge. So we all know the traditional curtsy, right? It's like you're doing a bowling kick out. So you're gonna go with your right leg behind you first, and your right arm is also gonna come up. So we're gonna interlock arms like this. We're gonna look into each other's eyes so we can build a connection. And then we're gonna kick our legs out and then curtsy. And then we'll just switch arms and come back down. So what we'll do is we'll do this 5 or 6 times.
5 or 6 times.
In a workout at a different station. But what happens is we'll do this exercise and then we'll run to another spot in the park and then we'll do a different partner exercise or a different exercise. And then we'll come back and we'll cycle through this for anywhere from 20 to 25 minutes. Our warm-ups are generally 15 minutes. We start with a group cheer. We call it our bounce. And then after we do the 25 minutes of work, we do a burnout. So anything you have left in the tank, you'll do an exercise or a group exercise, relay style usually, and you do that. Once that's done, we give out a positivity award and an award that we created here just for Vancouver. And that one goes to the person that works really hard regardless of their level. Yeah.
Is there another one?
Yeah, absolutely. So another exercise that we can do, it's called a hoisty. So at the very top, we're gonna jump, we're gonna say the word hoisty, we're gonna put a little emphasis in it, but you're gonna cross arms, you're gonna grab at the wrists, hold each other's wrists, okay? We're gonna get nice and close, we're gonna squat down all the way.
All the way down?
Okay, so you're not done until your bum touches the ground.
Okay, it is.
Okay, and then we're gonna pull and jump, hoisty.
And how many times?
So we can do that, I mean, as many times as we want. But generally, we go 5 or 10 exercises per station, and we cycle through and go over and over. The workouts are rarely ever exactly the same. We do have personal record workouts that we'll do once a month, and that's the last Wednesday of every month. We also, on the last Wednesday, tag people's shirts. So you show up, you bring your jacket, your shirt, whatever. We'll spray paint it, and that's the cool thing about this. Because we're in 30 cities, right? We're in San Francisco, Boston, LA, like places in Wisconsin, and we're in Reykjavik, Iceland, right? So you could be in any of these places and you could see somebody and all you need to see is the middle of the shirt and you know exactly what that is. And the craziest thing about this community is you can go walking through an airport wearing a November Project shirt, somebody that you've never met before, you'll see them, you'll recognize each other's clothes, and you can give that person a hug because you're part of the same family.
Richard, I want to thank you very much for coming on the show. It was lots of fun.
Yeah.
And stay tuned. We'll be right back. With me in the studio is Daniele Buchanan. She is a life coach and owns her own company called Soul Survivor Coaching. Daniele is here today to share her story about quitting smoking and picking up running and to talk about the Run to Quit program. Welcome, Daniele.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So tell me about yourself. When did you start running?
Well, I want to share with you that I smoked for 15 years.
15 years,
And I'm really nervous. I'm so nervous to tell people because I didn't share it with many people. I hid smoking from a lot of people because I was ashamed. And the reason why I want to share this with you is because I want to be my authentic self. And in hopes that I can inspire somebody to quit smoking or motivate them to come to the running room for the Run to Quit. I started smoking when I was in high school. I was 15 years old. I thought it was a cool thing to do. And then when I was 19, I got into a really serious Sea-Doo accident in Cancun, Mexico. It was a near-death accident. And I broke my pelvis in half, I broke my right hip, and I cracked my tailbone. During rehabilitation, I thought I need to make some huge changes in my life. This is not working for me. And I did not want smoking to be a part of that. So I started to quit smoking. I didn't change my habits. I didn't change the way that I dealt with stress. So when stress came back into my life and I was out with friends having wine, I started smoking again. And then a year later, I was diagnosed with cervical cancer. I thought, wow. The negative self-talk came in, and it's like, you are a bad person. How dare you smoke? You can't do this. You are a bad person. And that negative self-talk came in, and it was really strong. I tried to quit. I mean, why wouldn't I want to quit?
Was
but I
this three
didn't.
How many times?
Oh, I tried a million times. Every day, I'm consciously quitting smoking. And that's just really what I want to share with people. And I thought, this is it. Well, I'm standing here right now at 31, sharing my story with you on how this is my journey. And I am now proud to say that I am doing my first full marathon, May 1st.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
Which one?
The BMO.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'm really excited.
So how did you fall in love with running?
Well, I fell in love with running through, well, actually, let's be honest. I did not identify as a runner at all. I did bring a running belt, because what I'd like to say is when I looked at runners, I thought they had to be really athletic and really lean, and they only wore spandex, and I even wanted to stereotype them so much that they ate kale, and that was it. And they all had running belts, kind of like this. So I stereotyped runners because I didn't want to have to be part of that. I did not identify as a runner. I was a smoker. Then I started to go to the running room, and I decided the hardest part was to get in the car. That negative self-talk of you're not a runner, you're not going to be able to do this was so strong. But I did it. I got in the car, brought my running belt, and I got in the car and went. It's an inclusive community of people. They're there to keep you accountable. And we even have motivational speakers where we talk about nutrition, we talk about even the type of shoes you wear. It's so informative. I would leave there after every time I'd go going, I'm so glad I showed up. So it's something that I really love, because the more I start to identify as a runner, the stronger my commitment to myself is. That's a really huge thing for me, and for me to be able to stay quit. So this campaign with the running room is fantastic. I love this program, because guess what? The person who is leading this program is an ex-smoker themselves.
That's wonderful.
They've been there. They understand it. And for me, I think that that's great, because you're labeled, and you don't feel connected to especially a running community. And now we're saying, hey guys, come as you are, as you need to be. You don't even have to quit smoking.
And it's a 10-week program,
It's
right?
a 10-week program, and just show up and see what it's like.
Just show up.
Yeah.
And see. But what would you say to someone who is watching this show and they want to change their life like you are?
Yeah.
What would you tell them?
I would tell them to show up to the running room and give it a try. Bring a friend. Bring a smoker. Bring an ex-smoker. Bring whoever you want to the running room and make exercise fun, because that's really going to help you. 2, even if you don't identify as a runner, come and just be embraced by this phenomenal community of people who are going to help keep you accountable. And 3, make the commitment to yourself. Try something new. And even if it's not running, there's a walking group. It's changing your habits that is really going to help lead to a life without cigarettes.
It's like changing, an unhealthy habit into a healthy one. And you've done it, and so what's next for you? I mean, you're doing the BMO Vancouver Marathon, but are you going to be giving any talks? And
Definitely. I'm really excited about what's next. There's so many amazing opportunities that are coming forward, especially with the Canadian Cancer Society. That's something that's really near and dear to my heart. And I lost my dad to prostate cancer over 2 years ago. And we were in the BC Cancer Agency for quite a while. So that's something, when I have passion and purpose, that excites me that I can help out. So I love that I'm working with the Canadian Cancer Society. And then the running room for, leading a healthy lifestyle, because you need to change those habits. So it's something that's really exciting for me, and that's what, the future's gonna hold.
And reach out.
Definitely.
And as you said, show up. And you don't have to be a runner, you can be a walker. And also too, it's open to any age group, family, and if you join this program, you're most likely to be more successful, right? 'Cause they're there to help you.
And if you don't do it now, then when are you gonna do it?
Exactly.
And for me, that's something that really resonates. And also, it's what type of legacy do I want to leave behind? I want to leave behind a legacy that's somebody who's courageous and is able to be vulnerable and share their story. And that's what I want to leave behind. So that's something that's really a driving force for me in my run to quit and in my life.
Well said, Danielle.
Thank you.
I want to thank you very much for coming on the show, and I'd like to have you come back. And for more information on Run to Quit, go to runtoquit.com.
Did you know that chocolate milk is a great post-workout recovery beverage? Research shows that a beverage containing carbohydrate, protein, and electrolytes, such as that found in chocolate milk, can be more effective at increasing next workout performance than a conventional sports drink.
With me in the studio is Dr. Therese Nicasio, registered psychologist, chef, and author of Young, Plant-Based Recipes for a Gluten-Free Diet. She's here today to talk about her award-winning cookbook, Yum, which is loaded with easy-to-make recipes, healthy ones, and full of beautiful photos. And according to Dr. Therese Nicasio, her philosophy is like a bowl of soup. Mm-hmm. And welcome to the show. Welcome to Doctor's Corner.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, I looked at your book, Yum, congratulations, and
Thank you.
Loaded with beautiful photos, like the bee, and so what prompted you to take photos of beautiful images?
Yeah, so what actually started me with taking the photos was taking photos of the recipes that I was making, because I had been very, very sick, and there was a lot of neurological damage that came from the gluten and so forth that I didn't realize over my whole lifetime until I discovered that I couldn't eat foods like gluten. And so when I was creating recipes just to survive, I would forget what I was cooking, and I would forget what to make again. And so I started taking pictures with my iPhone. So that was how I started. But because I have a very artistic quality, artistic aspect of myself, I would try to make it extra pretty. So that was how it began, but it was just literally to remember what I was doing. But then what happened, one day I was talking with, turned out an artist she did felt work, but she was talking, and after I said, I'm working on this, I'm working on a little art project myself. I have a cookbook I'm working on. So I pulled out my iPad and I was showing her the pictures, and it's partway through she stopped me and she said, "Who took those pictures?" And I said, "I did." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "I didn't tell you, but I'm actually a food stylist and photographer, and those are amazing. But girlfriend, you've got to get a real camera." So that's why I got the real camera, and then I just started immersing into having fun with that. So.
Like I said, you have easy to make recipes. Now, even a 12-year-old can make, is that right?
Yes, so it only made it in the book if a typical 12-year-old could make the recipes. If it couldn't make that cut, it didn't make it in the book. And there were so many recipes. There's hundreds of recipes in here. There's over 180, depending upon how you count, it could be over 200. It's 368 pages. So it's full of recipes. So when I had to cut some out for this purpose, there's still plenty of amazing recipes left.
And, so Yum, and now you received an award as well. Tell us about the award.
Well, the award blew the socks off me. So it's called the Gourmand World Cookbook Award. And I specifically won they start with the national award winners. So I won for Canada the title for the best diet book for the public in Canada. Yeah, so that was already amazing. And then I found out that not long ago, I just found out that the book has actually been shortlisted amongst the 209 countries this is like the Olympics of cookbooks, and it's been shortlisted as one of the 12 best in the world. So I'm heading to China for the big awards in May.
When are you going?
So that's in May. May 29th is the awards for the. I know, it's crazy.
I was going to ask you, what is your favorite recipe? Or is there one that you can pick from?
There are so many that are so delicious. Favorites, I could say there's some that I use the most. There's the sunflower seed sauce, which is like the best salad dressing, super healthy, easy peasy to make, and you use it for all kinds of things. You can use it for pasta sauce, you can use it in wraps. I also love to do my nori rice paper wraps because those are super fast, easy, and I can travel with them. So that's a very special. But the one that also is really close to my heart is the buttercream frosting, because
Wow.
because I don't use any sugar in the recipes. There's no gluten. It's all plant-based. There's no dairy. There's no eggs. There's nothing like that. It's very whole food based. But for the buttercream frosting, I've created an invention where I don't use any sugar and I don't use any butter or margarine or lard. And I've recreated a buttercream frosting that even diabetics can enjoy. 2 tablespoons of maple syrup in 3 cups of the lemon buttercream frosting. So that's a real favorite for me because it opens up the world for people who are trying to reduce their sugar intake and maybe have health problems.
Well, I notice you have cupcakes in there, and which is one of my favorite. And then there's kale chips you can make. And
Oh, I love the kale chips.
but you don't have to follow a gluten-free diet. It's for everyone, really.
It's for everyone, absolutely. And you don't have to be vegan. All the recipes are vegan. I'm not 100% vegan, but but for all of us, and the research really shows that the more we can increase our plant-based intake, the better. And there's also rising more and more research about gluten because the protein in gluten it cannot be broken down fully by any human, whether you have celiac disease or not. So it has other implications for health, as well as sugar, of course. And there's a lot of research coming out about the health implications for particularly the neurologic system as well.
And one more question: where can you buy your book?
You can buy it. You can get it at Whole Foods. You can get it at Finlandia. You can get it at Garden Works. You can get it at actually a whole lot of other places. I have a store locator on my website, yumfoodforliving.com, and anyway, so there's more and more places that are carrying it. But you can also get it on our website as well as on Amazon. So lots of places to get it.
Well, I like the name Yum, and thank you so much for coming on the show. I'd like to have you come back, and I just want to thank you. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching Run With It. If you have a question or comment on today's show, go to our website on the screen. Until next time, run with it.